the community. Welcome to I Am Yoga Community Live. About to get into some breathwork and meditation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. About to get to some spinal breathing. A pleasure to see you. Moon energy is moving in, and the sun energy is receding. Peace. How was your day today? How is your week going? How's your month? How's your life? It's good to see you. I got some books here that I wanted to share with you before we get into the breath work, so you can get a good idea of where the breath work is coming from. To begin with, I'm just going to begin with one of my favorite books. Probably one of my favorite books of all time, the Bhagavad Gita. This is the last 18 chapters to the Mahabharata, and you will find the originality or the origin of yoga in here, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which is devotion and self-knowledge. Can't beat this. This is the story of the living soul inside the body, written as a war. Can't beat this. So DM me directly if you want a PDF of the Bhagavad Gita, number one. Number two, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. You can't beat this, right? Hatha Yoga Pradipika. The first really traditional yoga, Hatha Yoga. Ha means hot and La means sun. Hot and cold. So Hatha, Ha, very important book. Very important book if you are into yoga or the sacred sciences, or if you are a person who is woke and a person in the light, studying quantum physics, get you a copy of Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Or DM me directly and I'll send you a copy. Can't beat this. It's toy. Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. This is a world famous book. In fact, my book is going to be called Autobiography of Another Yogi. This book deals with the science of Kiva Yoga. And this is a famous book. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, just a few who have made this book famous. The actor, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he's a very famous actor. He's also a yogi, and has mentioned this book as well. Autobiography of a Yogi is a book that, if you are into the secret sciences, that you should read. My favorite, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. This is the origin of where the world got their breathwork and meditation from, and where we are going to start our practice also originates from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So this book I just tore the cover is The Science of Yoga, right? Written by Tamini. I just tore it. I.K. Tamini. This is my favorite book of all time, and this book deals with the science of yoga from a spiritual perspective, or let's say from a conscious perspective, or energetic perspective, a quantum perspective, or maybe even a pranic perspective. This book is called The Science of Yoga as well. This is written by Anne Swanson, and this book deals with science. This book has a science application to it, where she deals with the muscular system, skeletal system. She's color-coded it as well. So this book is not the science. This book is not the science of yoga. This book is the science of yoga, because it breaks down the science of breathwork and meditation, and the application of asanas and how it prepares the bodies for breathwork and meditation. So, I'm just showing the distinction between the two books. I guess you could say this one is American and this one is Indian, and that distinction oftentimes is very much distinguishable. Yeah, I can't even say it. But you get my point, right? You can make that. It's oftentimes you can make the distinguish. You can distinguish between what is American and what is Indian, especially when it comes to yoga. Finally, yoga anatomy. Right now, yoga anatomy is written much like that book, The Science of Yoga. Again, it deals with a bunch of asanas that are color coded and shows you the muscles and bones associated with certain poses. So with that being said, I'm sorry, but I couldn't say distinguishable. Uh, and you'll understand something about my tongue and language as we get to know each other. And when I give my little autobiography to you, my little dissertation about my history, how yoga saved my life. But right now, we're about to get into some spinal breathing. Another idea or word for spinal breathing is chakra breathing. Now, bear in mind something we've always been told to, we have to reconnect to the chakras, or the chakras have to reconnect to the body, or the chakras need to be improved in some kind of way. It's not true. The chakras are part of the energetic body, and they're always operating and functioning perfectly. It's the body that needs to reconnect to the chakras rather than the chakras needing to reconnect to the body. With that being said, the proper way you want to sit whenever you're doing breath work or meditation is with a naturally curved spine. The spine is not straight. The spine is naturally curved like an antenna, right? Much like trees, much like grass. Earth has a negative energy charge. The atmosphere has a positive energy charge. And so does the body. So there's a certain magnetism that happens, or electronic magnetic pull that causes it to bend. So it can receive and broadcast. It receives the broadcast. It receives the signals. And so the spine is naturally curved, and you can find that natural curve by sitting on your glute bones, your butt bones, right? If you tilt your pelvis anteriorly forward and find your butt bones, it would straighten out your spine, or naturally put the natural curve in your spine. And start breathing deep and gentle from your nose only. Now, check in with your breathing. Check in with your nostrils. Which one is clearer than the other? Is it parasympathetic dominant or sympathetic nervous system dominant? Right? And check in with your abdomen. Is your abdomen moving before your chest when you inhale? Or is your chest moving before your abdomen, or is it moving at the same time? So you want to breathe properly. Pay attention to your navel area. Inhale from your navel area, right where your navel is. And take a deep inhalation until your shoulders start to lift. Very good. Breathe deep and gentle. Deep, slow, and gentle. No stress, no straining. Relax your facial muscles. Relax your body. Totally relax. And take your third eye and look inside your body and observe your body breathe. This observation is awareness, right? It expands and illuminates your awareness of body and being. And also it expands awareness. Breathe and observe the body breathing with all of you. Now pay attention to the Muladhara chakra. Pay attention to your awareness and navigate your awareness to the base chakra, Muladhara, that is located at the base of your spine, the bottom of your spine. And you're going to inhale from that area. And you're going to visualize the breath traveling up your spine to the third eye. And when you exhale, you're going to visualize the breath traveling back down your spine to the base chakra. In other words, connect the two chakras by inhaling and exhaling and visualizing it traveling up and down your spine. That is spinal breathing. Relax your muscles. Take your inner eye and observe within. Inhale from the base chakra. Observe the breath traveling up your spine to the third eye. Then visualize the breath traveling back down when you exhale. Visualize your spine, inside your spine, and see the breath traveling up the Sushumna, that vital channel. Feel your spine with all of you. You can feel the breath traveling up and down your spine like a current. Become aware of the subtle sensations, the very fine sensations of your awareness and of breathing. This is a meditation as well as breath work. Focus, concentrate with all of you. If your mind keeps interrupting, breathe in the thoughts as well. Make it part of the meditation. Make it part of the practice. Inhale the thoughts. Inhale the feelings. That's why we breathe with all of us. We breathe with all of you. Focus on your breathing. Concentrate. Concentrate with all of you. Breathe deep, gentle, and slow. Breathe deep, gentle, and slow. Embrace every chakra with every breath. When you inhale, Muladhara, Sabadayaya, Manipura, Anahata, Visuddha, Ajna. And then when you exhale, grace every chakra again. So breathe deep, gentle, and slow, and grace every chakra. In other words, breathe into every chakra to the third eye, and you exhale through every chakra, all the way down to the root. That's why the inhalation is deep and slow and gentle. So that you can grace every chakra with every inhalation and every exhalation. You're allowing the breath to touch every chakra on its way up and on its way down. Be aware of the subtle sensations of what you feel when you're moving through the chakra, especially your throat chakra. Very good. Start to integrate back to the 3D. Move your feet around, move your toes around, your fingers, move your head around, start to return. This is light work here. We're doing good. That was only 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes, something nice and light. We still in the half-hour mode for the week. Next week we'll go a little deeper, expand and illuminate. That was pretty good. That was spinal breathing. That's a very, very powerful breath work and meditation. It combines the two. So Patanjali talks about in the Yoga Sutras, concentration, meditation, and samadhi is samyama. It also talks about breath work concentration and meditation being one of the same three of the same processes. Those three processes is one. So you can't learn to meditate unless you learn to concentrate. You can't concentrate unless you learn how to breathe correctly, and vice versa. You can't breathe correctly unless you concentrate. You can't breathe chronically, diaphragmically, unless you concentrate, right? And after a while, you will acclimate your body to breathing correctly, and you won't have to concentrate as so much. But because we breathe so much in survival mode, you have to reinforce your breathing here, on a daily basis. You have to reinforce breathing correctly, which is diaphragmically from the navel, not from the chest, the navel. Of course, the camera is, let me stand up from here. So, real quick, some of the benefits of breath work. One of the benefits, primary benefits of breath work is this. You are a master at breathing already. You've been breathing since you've been on the planet. Number one, you are a master at breathing. You've been breathing since you've been on the planet. 2, you are breathing in the living life force of the planet, right? The planet, the planet, the entire planet has to have this life force, right? People, humans, we have to have the life force in food. But breathing, right? You can go a little bit. You can maybe go a whole month without eating before you perish. You return to the source. But try going a couple of seconds, a minute or so, a couple of minutes without breathing. You be with the source real quick. That's my point. You have a whole nother entity living inside of you called the central nervous system. In other words, you could be brain dead, but the body still will be breathing. My point is, the value of breathing is this. When you breathe correctly, this spacesuit functions better. This spacesuit has more vitality. The organs and systems function better. There's less decay happening inside the body. The body has more magnetism, right? Meaning that it has the ability to produce more creativity, right? It has the ability to have the pleasure centers activated more. So what are we talking? More vitality, more strength, and less decay. Why? Because you are breathing less. You take in less oxygen and less nitrogen. So there's less processing of that. So there's less decay happening inside because you're breathing correctly. So the body doesn't have to work so hard to give you energy. It's pretty deep. It's called oxygenation, right? Versus oxidation. Oxidation is stressful breathing, right? You breathing on here's stressful breathing. I'm breathing from my chest area rather than from my abdomen. I'm breathing under duress. So my body is retaining more carbon dioxide and cortisol, stress hormones, because I'm breathing under duress. But if I'm breathing correctly, I'm actually engaging the life force in the breath. So that's the value of also clarity. You have a lot more clarity when you are breathing correctly. You can feel it. And here's a simple test, right? Breathe very fast. And try to think of what it is you have to do today, tomorrow. Or just breathe from your chest area. That is very shallow. It's very shallow. You can't really concentrate. You can't think. You're not having the thoughts. You can't produce the thoughts that you really want. Now, breathe from your abdomen. Breathe from your navel area. And pay attention to the subtle sensation. Breathing from your navel area. Pay attention to the subtle sensation. Even in the atmosphere. You have awareness. You have a greater awareness. There's an expansion of your awareness. You have more clarity, right? You have a greater sense of being. That's the value of breath work. So that's why we're doing this. So it is now. Okay, I can't see it. It's too small. It is. 7:29. Oh, we got 1 minute, and I'm happy because I need to rest. And tomorrow, Saturday, we're live 7 p.m. We're doing headstand. So it's supposed to be headstand, breathwork, meditation. That's the rotation, right? That's the rotation. Headstand, breathwork, meditation. Headstand is Saturday. Tuesday will be breathwork and meditation. I go live on TikTok every morning, except Sunday, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Same thing, headstand. Then the next day is the breathwork and the meditation. So I hope to see you at 6 a.m. on TikTok. And I will be live again on Saturday at 7 p.m. Beginning Tuesday, we'll be upping it up to 45 minutes. We're going to get a little more into some of the dynamics of breathwork. It's time to start talking about how breathwork, how breathing incorrectly or breathing in stressful situations, and how you don't want to breathe in stressful situations. But what happens when you breathe in stressful, if you're in a stressful situation and you're not breathing correctly, you're not going to be able to be aware. Your awareness is not correct. Your awareness is limited. If you're in a stressful situation, say you're in an argument, you're dealing with law enforcement, or you're dealing with the courts, or you're dealing with a relative, family member, a spouse, your child, the school, whatever it may be. It's a stressful situation going on. You're not breathing correctly. Your awareness is very limited. Therefore, your decision making and understanding of the situation is very limited. And that's where you're going to make your decisions. That's where you're going to act from. But if you're breathing correctly in these stressful situations, and I got to tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy to breathe correctly in a stressful situation. Yes, I'm telling you from direct experience, but it's possible to do. It's possible to pause, take a moment, and take that deep breath and begin breathing. And analyzing the situation with awareness rather than just your thinking and your feelings. So we'll talk more about that the next breathwork session. Right now we're going to get out of here. I'm glad I went live. This channel will grow. It's going to expand. It's under grace. We just beginning. It's still the third week? You said third week, didn't it? Isn't it the first week? Something is wrong with my memory because Olivia's telling me it's the fourth week. Wow, it is. I still think it's the first week.
They started a month ago.
Huh?
They started a month ago.
Wow, this is a whole. What? You know what? I'm impressed. Yeah. So, that's exciting to know. And I have to start sharing this channel more on my other on the other channels. Start sharing this channel more. I haven't been doing it. And I apologize for not doing it, but I will. You have my blessings. Have a good evening. Peace.